Okay, I'm not going to open up with like a smart remark or an opening quote like I usually would. I'm just going to get right into this review because this is by far the hardest movie I've had to review this year, period. Now, Cloud, and I'm not going to go over who's in it because there's a lot of great actors and they all do an A-plus job. I don't think it's good enough to snatch any Oscars this year, but trust me, no one does a bad performance. And I'm not even going to try to go over the story because this movie isn't about telling an individual story, it's about telling a concept. And the concept of this movie is trying to explain how certain actions done by certain people can actually affect other people over the course of time. So it kind of wants to tell the whole story of reincarnation, how if you're good in one life, then you will be rewarded in a future life. Now, here's the big-ish issue that I think Cloud Atlas is going to have with moviegoers and movie reviewers is that everyone is going to go in one or two directions. You're either going to think that this is art and quite possibly one of the most original creative movies we've had in decades, or they're going to view this as a complete mess which is trying to tell a message but is not doing it well. I'm in the middle because I did enjoy this movie to an extent. The problem is this. Cloud Atlas pretty much wants to tell this very concept by telling it over a course of 5 different stories with mostly some of the same actors, mostly Tom Hanks, I believe was in all of them if I'm correct. And the problem I had with Cloud Atlas was that it didn't tell these stories in the right order. It pretty much jumps between all 5 of them simultaneously. So at one point you're kind of in the present, and then another you're kind of way into the future, and then you have to go all the way really back into the past somewhere else, and it's trying to explain how what this person did in the past is going to affect this person in the present, which is then going to affect this person in the future, and how their actions are all connected through life and death and through experiences. But it's just it's jumping around too much. What they should have done is they should have had stuck with pairing them. They should have just stuck with 2 individual stories and say, okay, what this guy does is going to affect this guy. And then a separate story, okay, what this person does is going to affect this person. And this is how they're all connected. But it's constantly jumping around. And here's the weird thing. With the whole reincarnation part, you're not even sure who's who. Best example, Tom Hanks has played several different characters, but you're not sure if these same characters are supposed to be connected, because the only way you can tell who's connected to who is either who's playing the same person or certain birthmarks that they have. And there's certain things that they all do which kind of don't make sense to how this would really affect someone at a different part of time. As you can see by my expression, I'm still puzzled by it, and so were the people around me. We all had the same look. We had a look like this. It was like, we're just kind of tilting our heads, squinting, trying to understand it. It's basically, I keep saying basically, I'm sorry. I'm trying to explain this simply, and there's no real, it's too complex for me to simplify it. The only thing I can say is don't take my personal opinion as your own. If you want to see an experimental movie which will definitely test your intellect, definitely go check this out. If you're someone who cannot stand too much talking and needs to have an action scene or something interesting going on, this probably is not the movie for you, because it runs at about 3 hours, and most of the time it drags on. Sometimes there are interesting things happen, and then there's supposed to be build up to something that's interesting supposed to happen, but it never happens, and it just cuts to another part, another storyline. And that is why I'm gonna have to give Cloud Atlas a 5 out of 10. Not to say it's bad or good, just to put it right in the middle between 0 and 10, because that's how I feel. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, visually it is a beautiful film. Dialogue is great. Filming is excellent. Acting is good, but it's just how the story is told and how they're trying to explain this concept that didn't work for me. So again, do not take this rating as your own. I definitely suggest you see it if you want to test yourself to see if you can understand such a complicated like idea or storytelling. If you like this review, please like, comment down below, and subscribe to keep track of me and my future movie reviews. And like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.